Welcome back to America's Commercial Real Estate Show. I am Michael Bull. The segment is brought to you by ArborCrowd.com. Check them out for crowdfunding for commercial real estate, whether you're a sponsor or an investor. Well, today we're talking about the press. We're talking about PR, and we have some experts here. We have Amy Wink, and she's from the Atlanta Business Chronicle, and we have Rachel Tobin, and she's from Jackson Spalding, a PR firm. And you know, I think one of the things that you want to know what to do right, but you also want to make sure you avoid the mistakes. And I'm sure you've both seen the mistakes. You know, what about with the press? What are some mistakes to avoid?
Well, I think that you should always answer your phone if I call, even if you don't want to comment. It's best for us to talk. I think that that's your best strategy.
Don't ignore you?
Don't ignore me. Also, don't call too much.
Don't bother you.
Don't bother me. You know, I have a lot that comes on my plate, and I'm definitely going to contact you, you know, so just know that. Another thing, you know, don't lie to me. That's actually probably the biggest thing to not do.
People lie to you?
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
That's going to damage our relationship, and that it's just not going to go well. I mean, I'm ultimately going to find the facts, so you should know that. The other thing, I mean, those are the big
And I
three.
guess the speed to respond to you, right?
Yeah, please, respond to me.
Talked about that
quickly.
earlier in the segment. You got to respond quickly to the press because you guys are under deadlines.
Right.
Right. And what about, I know in PR there's a lot of mistakes to avoid. What are some of the big ones?
One thing we see people do a lot is not be prepared. So most companies, and if you're a construction company or developer, you really should have a crisis plan in place. We've had major developers and others who are our clients who've had a lot of things happen on their properties, either construction accidents or tenants that get involved in domestic violence disputes, ATMs being stolen. So if you're not ready for that, the TV truck shows up on property. Your property manager should know exactly who to call and who the spokesperson is. If it's a big deal, like say Amy calls you and you're not ready to talk about it, but you shouldn't say no comment. You should have a statement of some kind ready, and that's where your PR team or possibly a PR firm can help you craft that statement. And also, I mean, the number one thing you can't do is like lie and also break the law.
Right.
We had actually a company call us who wanted to evict all their tenants to redo their affordable housing, and it was against the law. And we were like, we really can't get you out of that squeeze. You might want to keep moving because we're not going to help you there.
Wow. Yeah, that is a mistake.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
The law, and then get me out of this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we're not here to spin that. We are here to help you get your message out. But if your message is nothing to see here, move along, but you're breaking the law, you're evicting tenants, I don't think that's a good place to be, and we're not going to be able to prevent the bad PR on that one.
What if you think that you've got a press-worthy happening, and you're using what you think are the proper methods to get it out there, and it's just ghost. It's just you're not seeing anybody covering it. What might you have done wrong?
That's interesting. Maybe you didn't pitch the story right. I get a lot of emails. People reach out to me on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, like all the channels. So maybe your pitch wasn't clearly defined, or it wasn't well written. Maybe it was too long.
Well, first of all, you're assuming it was pitched. Maybe they used an automatic service, right? They were supposed to send the press release out to the world.
No, that's a mistake.
That's mistake one.
Don't just throw it up on PR Newswire, because then it's out to the world. So in my view, that's going to be a lower priority item because it's already out to the world. I have no chance of an exclusive, right?
Yeah.
So that's, if you want to do it that way, okay, you can do it that way, but
that may be why you didn't hear anything.
Yeah, that may be why you're not getting a front page story in the paper.
And then the proper pitch, right? The proper pitch. And to think about the proper pitch, what might we want to think about?
This goes back to mistakes people make. This is great. they haven't read Amy's column. They don't know what she writes about. And they send her something that, I mean, I can't even think of a proper example right now, but there's so much you wouldn't cover. And so make sure that you've thought it through, you've spent some time reviewing the publication you think you're targeting, and then understand that we have huge deals going on in Atlanta right now. And deals that would have gotten coverage in the recession times are now really not as newsworthy when you have Amazon looking for headquarters across the country, and Apple, and something maybe happened in the Gulch. I mean, there's just so much that's huge dollar signs, big brand names. And so if your $10 million transaction doesn't make it anymore, then I recommend that you maybe buy the Chronicle. I'm going to give you guys a little commercial. They started a feature called Companies on the Move. It's similar to their People on the Move segment, and you pay for it. But it goes on their website. People really do see it. We always get great response from people on the move. So maybe that is, or that's a use for your PR newswire. If you need to because that goes into your SEO, your search engine optimization, your bucket of credibility, right? Or you pitch it to a trade. I mean, I think you have to have your expectations in line with what your story really is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you have to know the right publications that want your kind of story, right? And then what's the pitch, what makes it interesting to them. And then I think really what makes your project just interesting anyway? Are you creating a lot of jobs? You know, are you creating a lot of business to the market area? Really kind of what's interesting, right?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Business reporters want data.
Yeah.
They want numbers. If you call Amy and say, I have this great project, but you won't tell her what you think the price on it is, it makes it harder for her to judge where to put in the lineup of everyone that's pitching. At least I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I mean, and here's an idea. You know, so much of life is a give and take, right? What if you help me out in a different way and we start to build a relationship? I know I can call on you. Maybe you'll give me a tip in the marketplace. How am I going to approach when you come to me with a story then? If you've been helping me out, it's just a thought.
Yes, it comes back to the old commercial real estate world. It's relationship.
Right.
It's relationships.
It's build relationships, and if you have no relationships with the press, you might want to think about a PR firm. And if you were trying to build relationships with the press, you might think about, you know, your business journal there in your market. And who is it, right? And who covers what you do, and build a relationship, right? And give them some tips.
That's right.
We love those.
To Amy's point too, I can call Amy and I can try to set up an appointment or a meeting. But if you, developer or construction company owner or broker, if you call her directly, her ears are going to perk up and she's going to say, oh yeah, I want to know you. And I think, so you've seen some developers over time use PR firms, but once they've built those relationships, you actually see them not needed as much because now they have those direct connections. And so again, gauge who you are, where you are. If you need some help, there's people that can help you. If you're ready to go and you've become like a Michael Bull or the press know you, you may not need as much help anymore. So, and I just love Amy's emphasis on relationship building.
Yeah.
We try to tell our clients that as well. And we don't want people to fear it, you know, but come to the table with something, you know, and try to start the back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, what would you leave the audience with as a final tip for them, either a mistake to avoid or something that might help them in their press and PR strategies?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I would just continue to emphasize preparation and thinking through who your audience is, thinking about why you're communicating, thinking about what you're communicating, right? Because if you can't start with those things, it's going to be very hard for you to feel like you've achieved something, because that should sort of be the foundation for your goals. Yeah. And we always like to start with your strategy. What's your actual business strategy? Are you trying to grow by a percentage or get a certain tenant or attract a certain market? Okay, well now we can build something around that is going to help you reach those ultimate goals.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I think about it in terms of social media, which has the word media in it, right? And you know, I'll see an office tenant rep in Chicago, and he's posting things about commercial real estate all the time. Well, guess what? The people you want to reach are businesses in Chicago, and they don't care about commercial real estate every day. You want to tweet and share things that are interesting to them about their business that could help them in their community, right?
That's right.
So, final tip.
I'd focus first on your business. Do what you do best. Be the best at what you do. Get big deals. The press is going to follow naturally. It's a really natural process. And when we do call, don't be afraid of us. I'm not always carrying a recorder. I rarely carry a recorder. I'm not out to get you. I'm here to work with you. You know, I want to facilitate the flow of business in the market too. So, you know, we work together to grow business in the city. So I think it's as simple as that.
Now I'm more motivated now. You just looked at me, you looked at the audience, get good deals, get big deals, do big projects, do great things, and you will be in the press.
I think that's true.
Well, great information, ladies. Thanks for joining us here in Studio One today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for joining us around the country, around the world. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate you sharing. And we love to hear from you in our social media. So do connect with us and let us know what you think about all these tips and strategies. And until next week, be sure that you always lead, learn, and laugh. And join us for America's Commercial Real Estate Show.